Hello everyone, and welcome to week 1 of the online course development program. By now you should know my name. It's Amy Korick. I've contacted all of you now to set up our first one-on-ones, but I wanted to give you a brief overview of the entire process before we meet, as last semester that was deemed that would be helpful. So again, welcome and thank you for taking on this task of developing either an online course or a blended course. We'll be working together with you, and we do have a team of people to help you through this process. Okay, so the first thing is that you are in the process of being added to a course shell called Online Course Development Workshop, and you will be added to this as a student, so it gives you an opportunity to see the Blackboard shell, the Blackboard environment as a student. The main meat here, you'll see that there's some information about the course itself, the objectives. There will be a calendar as well as the topics, and we also have a set of deliverables. So as you go through the weeks, we'll be working with you to meet these deliverables. So for example, week 2, next week, we would like you to have your instructor bio posted. Something small, easy, get that in there, sort of get the ball rolling. And you can take a look at those, they're in there. And you do run through the program as a student would. So you have 7 weeks, reading week. I understand how busy you all are during reading week, so you do not have any deliverables or any work to do with us. That's a time to work on your own courses or work on this process. At the end of the semester, whether your course is running in the winter semester, winter 2015, or if it's running at a later date, we do a review. And we'll be talking about these reviews in our one-on-ones that we have scheduled coming up. The next area I want you to take a look at is topics. So each week, again, this is run as my introductory email. This is run sort of like a blended course. So each week you have online work to do, working towards building your online or blended course. And then once the first month is over, we're going to have group sessions. And those group sessions are based on what your needs are as a group. But I'm just going to pop you into topic number 1 here. So each week will be the same. There'll be some information. This week you'll be introduced to the workbook, which I'll come back to in a moment. But you'll have recommended work as well as some tips and tricks. This week, so week 1, you have this, it's called Tech Readiness Questionnaire, and I would ask if you could please complete that. In there it gives us an idea of what we need to cover in our group sessions. We have some set topics that we do run through each semester, but if a large group of you do not need a certain topic or in need of that, we'll add that in and make sure that that's covered. Also in week 1, we have here examples of successful courses. So these are courses that have gone through this process and the teachers are very happy with them and they've met the checklist. So in here there's an optics course, a psychology course, and then the last one here is sort of a montage of 3 and just pointing out what was successful in each one of those. So I would suggest you take a look at that, especially if you've never taught online before and it's that I don't know what I don't know. It's a good place to start there. But going back into topic number 1, so this online course development workbook, I'm just going to open that up here. So you're going to use this workbook throughout our time together throughout the semester. I do not ask for that you hand it in or anything like that. It's for your own use. Some people like to print it off. Some people save it and use it electronically. It's up to you how you'd like to use it, but it walks you through, and each week, each topic, you'll be directed to your workbook to do some activities. And this was developed by Bob Marchessault. If you know Bob, excellent instructional designer for online learning. But it asks you some questions about your course and works you through your course. The longer you've been teaching a course, sometimes the harder it is to answer these questions because it's become sort of second nature. But again, that's in topic number 1. I do suggest you save that somewhere, and again, you can print it off or you can use it electronically. It's for your own use. The next thing I'd like to talk to you about is your development shell. So I've requested from IT that each of you have a development shell created. Myself and a few other people will be in there, which we'll go over at our meeting who the team is and where you can get supports. But inside those development shells, that's the area for you to be building these courses. Unless I've heard otherwise from you, I'm going to be adding our template. And what our template does is it sort of builds in some of the areas of that checklist that I do have to run your course through at the end. So for example, if we take a look at the About Course section, it's got things that are needed. So course outline, course syllabus, course calendar, and then there's another folder with some great best practices for online learning, such as a startup checklist, what are my responsibilities versus your responsibilities in an online course, link to the course evaluation, and frequently asked questions. Anywhere that you see this icon, that means that there's a sample form for you there. So again, this is under the course calendar. I'm just going to open it up. So again, it's just one type of course calendar that you could have. We have several, but it breaks it down into the week, start dates, topics, readings, activities, evaluations, the due dates, and then what they're worth in the final. Again, there's lots of different ones, but anytime you see that, that is what that is referring to. Anywhere you see the CTEL logo, it brings you to our website, and if you're looking for more information on something such as a syllabus, that will be there. But sort of the real advantage of using this template is if you're going to be doing a weekly format rather than modules, all this information is already here. Now you're not doing the busy work of creating the 14-week folders. When you go inside there, in the checklist, which I'm going to go to next, some of the mandatory items are things like you do need to have an introduction, the learning objectives, you have to have your content, so whether that's going to be videos, that's going to be a PowerPoint with voiceover, whatever, if that's going to be a learning object of some kind, it's going to be in here, and then some type of activity. And examples of activities could range from discussions, blogs, journals, quizzes, there's many different types here. And then again, also has to have a summary. So that's going to be built into your course, unless I know some of you are using a different format. I haven't put that in there. So over to this checklist I keep talking about. So one of the checklists, we run your course at the end through just a general quality assurance where we click on all the links. If there's a video, we open it to make sure it works. We look at the assignment instructions. So if, for example, your instructions inside your weekly folder say, click on the discussion tab and you've called it weekly forums, just as an example, we might say that might be confusing for some of your students. We run it through this Ontario Learn checklist. And the reason why we use the Ontario Learn checklist is because it's been agreed upon by all 24 Ontario colleges. And this is also linked within your week one, so I suggest you take a look at this. So it's sort of like the rubric you give your students. This is what we have to go through and take a look at on your course. If your course is not being claimed by Ontario Learn, there are a few areas that don't apply, and we'll go through those closer to the review time. Just an example, brief description of applicable Ontario Learn policies and links to full documents. If your course is not being claimed on Ontario Learn, you don't need to worry about that section. But it is 2 pages, and again, that's available to you within the topic number 1. All right, so that's it for now. I've got, as I said, I've been sending out those one-on-ones. Please bring everything that you have for your course. So if all you have is a syllabus, that's fine. If you've been teaching it for a few years and you have lots of materials, just bring that all in and we'll get together and put out a bit of a plan. And then we'll, as I said, once we get those results from the tech readiness quiz or questionnaire, then that's when we can start to build our weekly group sessions. We will be meeting, again, this starts in October and runs all the way through until the end of the semester, Friday mornings, and we will be in K203. You'll get lots of reminders from me and also what the topics are, and I will be sending out one of these videos every week, just recapping what we've worked on, what's to look out for next, and also if you're going through and you have something you're really proud of or something that you've used in another course, please send that over. Starting next week, I'm going to have just examples of excellence in other online courses, so I'd love to include the current sessions as well. All right, I'm going to wrap it up now, and I look forward to seeing all of you in our one-on-ones.